Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Kelly. Today it's all about Americana. This is part one of a series I'm working on. What can we do with these Hobby Lobby Patriotic napkins? So these stars on a stick also came from Hobby Lobby. I just stained the edges and the sticks with antiquing wax. And we're just going to throw a little Mod Podge on here. Easy enough. And we'll put our napkin there. Oh, don't forget to peel your napkins apart. There's a backing you're going to want to remove. And I've got it cut to fit. And basically, you just press down with your fingers. I like it to have a little bit of wrinkle to it as part of the look. So we trim it. And here's a little trick I learned from crafting cousins. Light it up and let it roll. You get a nice clean edge. And then you can clean it even further. But I saw that. I believe you can only do it with napkins and tissue paper. You know, heavier paper, it's not going to work so much. So keep that in mind as well. But it's fun. So then I'm going to do the back. And I'm placing it in a different area on the star so that they're not all exactly the same. You do how you like to do it. And then we just Mod Podge over top and let them dry. So here we have our vase, and I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge on the vase because it's got a glossy finish, and that'll help your paint stick. And I'm just going to take some blue, this is just flat acrylic, and add about 2 tablespoons, and add about a tablespoon of baking soda, and that'll give you a little texture, and it looks almost like concrete once it's done. And it's thick. You're not going to really be able to brush it on. You just want to dab it on. But it gives a really nice texture. You'll see here in a minute. Just keep on dabbing. And your brush is going to get all hard and crusty after a while. Halfway through, I had to throw my paintbrush in some water and get a fresh one. And I only did 1 coat of this. It depends. You may need 2 coats. But I also go back with the little black to darken it. The blue is just a little too bright. So here you go. You can kind of see the texture. And I'm just dabbing a little bit of black. Not too much. I wouldn't say dry brushing exactly. But I'm keeping it wiping off most of the paint. And I just thought it was too bright. So here it's all done, and I'm just gonna put these stars in this vase. I call this Star Spangled Bouquet. It turns out really cute, and I'm not gluing anything here. I'm figuring out kind of where I want them, and I'm gonna use this Spanish moss and just pack it in there to hold them in place. And I decide I want a 3rd one. But you'll see here, I want to have the 3rd one in the back standing up a little taller than the other 2. So all I did was tape a piece of a craft stick to it and just stuck it in there. Like I said, I didn't glue anything on here. And I just add a little more Spanish moss there. This is so easy and fun to do. And I just love how it turns out. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just starting out, and I could use some subscribers. I enjoyed doing it so much, and I want to bring you more videos. So please click that like and subscribe, and leave a comment what you think. I'd really like to hear your thoughts. So now I'm making a messy bow, they call it. And these are just strips of different ribbons, and you just alternate and stack them on top of each other. And I'm just going to take a piece of, I'll pinch it together and tie it with a piece of jute string, and make sure you have enough to tie to the vase. So you want to get it nice and tight around the center of your bow. Just adjust where you want them, how you want them to lay. Tie a nice tight knot. I love this so much. The only thing that was really work was the getting the vase painted. But it's just so much fun. And again, you're not hot gluing everything together. You don't have to worry about that. And it's not going anywhere. It's sitting in there on my table, and just the Spanish moss keeps everything in place. So we're just going to tie the bow right around the neck of the vase. I love the Americana look. What do you think of it? The distressed, old-fashioned. I just love Americana. But I'm working on some other projects for part 2. I'm working on a busted canvas with an old truck, an American flag, and it's just beautiful. I can't wait to get that out to you. And I've just got this little wooden star. God knows where that came from. Had it in my stash somewhere. And this is the only hot gluing I do on the entire thing, is to glue that star in the center of the bow. And I'm out of frame there, but you know how to glue something to something else, I'm sure. I love how this turned out. Let me know what you think. Super, super easy and very, very cute. So, let's get into DIY number 2. This is just a little wall hanging. I got this blank sign from Temu. Here's some more of your Hobby Lobby napkins. And the US and A letters, I got those at Dollar General, but you can get single letters at any hobby store. I've got a red paint, a blue paint, some brushes, and there's my trusty lighter to burn off my edge. Some white chalk paint, some Mod Podge, and some Elmer's glue. We're going to do some Crackle Effect with the Elmer's glue. So I went ahead and taped this off. Tape the frame off so I could paint the inside of it with this red. And this is just Michael's Craft Smart red, I believe, and the blue is some generic blue I bought at Joann's. So we're going to put that aside to dry, and we're going to work on our letters. And this is where the napkins come in. We're going to Mod Podge our beautiful napkins onto our letters. Just press them down, trim them up, always make sure your edges are down. That's, for some reason, it's easy to miss. And light her up. That's the fun part. And you just kind of move it along where the flame is going upward to keep it lit and rolling around real quick. It might mark the inside edges a little bit, but don't worry about that because we're going to distress it anyway. And then I just took a little sanding block, and you just burnish the edges, get the excess off, and put a top coat of Mod Podge on. Let it dry. So we do the same thing, obviously, with the S. Trim it up. Set it on fire. It's just so much easier, especially when you have these little curves. It's hard to get to. Use an emery board to get inside those smaller space. Oh, there you go. There's an emery board coming into play here. Now I've got my antiquing wax, and you want to get just a little bit on your brush. Wipe most of it off on your paper towel. And I just got the edges of the napkin and the sides, and just took that all the way around, and it just gives it a nice look. But you don't really have to do anything to the front. The front looks like distressed wood. So here we're back to our board, and I taped over the red so I could paint the blue frame. And if this doesn't turn out absolutely perfect, it doesn't matter. Once we put the crackle on there, you're not going to notice if your paint lines aren't perfect. So I just didn't want it getting all over the place. You know? So then we just remove the tape. And this is Elmer's glue and a paintbrush. And I'm just putting that on the inside. I'm letting it go ahead and get on the inside edge of the frame, just not the front of the frame. And you just paint that on. And you want to let that dry for a few minutes. Let it get tacky, 5 minutes maybe. And then we want to take our white chalk paint and always go in the same direction. Don't go back and forth. You know, I'm trying to get it up on the inside edge, and I struggle with that a little bit, but just as long as you're not going in different directions. And the thicker the coat of paint, the bigger the crackles you're going to get. So, and then we're just going to take our heat gun. A hair dryer will work as well. And you'll see some cracks. There you go. It doesn't take long. They start to form on there. And that red is showing through the white. This crackle effect is so much fun to do. So now we're going to distress with our antique wax again. See me dabbing off the excess. And we're just going over that blue. And you can get these there's little type of signs at Dollar Tree. You can find all kinds of cool stuff thrifting. So the frame sits up higher than the inside. So I'm using these Dollar Tree Jenga blocks to lift the letters up. And I'm just hot gluing the Jenga block to the right side of the U. And I think the S goes in the center, so I just put that in the middle of the S. And then the A, that'll go on the left side. And then I'm just gluing it to the board. I'm marking with my pencil where I want the letters to go once I laid out where I wanted them, just to make sure they get glued in the right spot. And we just adding glue to that Jenga block and gluing it to the board. That's all there is to it. These napkins are just I saw them and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have been Mod Podging these napkins, everything I can get my hands on around here. I said before, I love the Americana look anyway. And the ribbons I'm using in these products came from Dollar Tree, and they were actually like 2.5 inch wide. I just cut them in half up the center to make them smaller, to make these bows. And here you go. I'll show you how I did that here in a minute. Now I'm just figuring out about how long I want my pieces. And this will be 2 pieces of the stars. 2 pieces of the stripe with the stars. And then I have some solid blue. And these are not wired, but they're really nice. I wish I'd have picked up more. And these both came from Dollar Tree. I was very impressed with them. So I just fold them in half and get a nice crease in them so I can see where to cut them. Just cut them in half. Or you can find some Patriotic ribbon that's thinner. Then you can certainly use that. Dollar Tree had some 1 inch smaller that I picked up, but it was after I did this. But I like how this turned out, so I'm not complaining at all. It's a messy bow. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Now this blue is wired. That also came from Dollar Tree. And all I did was cut the wired edges off and just use the center of it. And just like we did in the last project, we're going to alternate them, stack them up on top of each other. And just kind of fan them out a little bit. Yeah, I'm pulling a loose string off. And it makes a really cute little bow. And we're gonna pinch it together and secure it with some jute. Now here I tie it in the back, and then I come back around. I loop it back around the front a couple times, and just make the make it a little wider. It's hard to see, but you can see, because I'm just going to let that jute show. We got rustic look here, and we just glue the bow up in the corner, and that's it. And I've got some more of these stars. Now these are made to make like a little garland, so they had little holes in it, so I just ran some jute through the holes to make it look like it's just supposed to be there. And we just glue them in place. And that's about it. This one is done. It's very easy, very cute, very lightweight. So let's move on to DIY number 3. This is a little Christmas box. I guess it's like bamboo or something. I don't know. But and our napkins, once again, and our white chalk paint. And all I'm going to do is just get a good coat of white chalk paint on the outside of the lid as well as the box. Because we don't want Merry Christmas showing through the napkins. So here everything's all painted and dry. And here we're gonna peel the backing off of our napkin. Yeah, make sure you do that or you'll end up with a mess. And just once you find an edge, and just slowly peel them away from each other. And then, you know, keep that backing. Put it in your stash with your paper towels or whatever. I've always got paper towels. I'm always using the hell out of them, so. And I'm just pure luck that these napkins, the section of the napkin was just big enough to cover this. And yeah, I'm using a pretty thin layer of Mod Podge. It doesn't take much. Just press it down, trim it up. Now, we didn't do the light on fire trick. We just used a sanding block to burnish the edges. I don't have to show you that again. And we're antiquing wax again. I'll get some on your brush, dab off the excess, and we're just going to hit the edge and down the side. And go start lighter, and then you can go back. Well, that's not dark enough, and you can always add, but you can't really take it away. So, whoop. Oh, excuse my screen here. I was having some issues. I had the recording on the wrong setting, so hopefully you can see. But this is pretty simple. So now I'm going to wrap the napkin around the outside of the bottom piece. So I just cut it in half here, and it doesn't go all the way around. So I end up having to kind of match it up as best I can, and just. I put a little Mod Podge on there to get it started once it was stuck. And I should have trimmed it before I started, but I trimmed off the excess, and we're going to add a little more Mod Podge. And just keep bringing it around. And I just let it, when I put the, you'll see I put the second piece on, I just let it overlap a little bit. I wasn't too worried about it. I thought, you know what, that'll just be the back. So, but you can line it up better if you want. And again, you're not going to find this exact box. And you can do this with a square box if you want. But Dollar General always has pretty nice, you can use sturdy cardboard boxes. Dollar General has nice ones. Oop, my edge wasn't all the way down there. And didn't I just show that I trim? I don't know. I'm having a time. I'm getting better at this editing. I promise it'll get there. I thought I already trimmed that off. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So now we're just taking another square I cut out. And again, it doesn't line up perfect, and I didn't worry about trimming it up. I just thought if it overlaps a little bit, it's okay. So I guess I'm gonna fiddle with it all day before I show you what's next. So yeah, I actually end up doing more with this little box, but you have to subscribe so you get part 2. So yeah, it overlaps just a tiny bit. your Mod Podge on there and line it up. And these napkins have those lines in it to where it helps you kind of line things up. Just press it on down with your finger. And you see the red's kind of showing through a couple of the stars, but that didn't bother me. But again, you can trim it to fit better if you like. And again, you're gonna have a different box. So we just clean up the edges with our sanding block and add a little antique wax just to the edges. And this little box is done once we put the final coat of Mod Podge on. And that's a wrap on part 1 of my Americana series. Let me know which project was your favorite down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss part 2, including the finishing of the gift box. Coming soon and packed with even more red, white, and blue fun. See you next time.